The Bruins gave us 6 big reasons to be thankful in a win over the Islanders on Wednesday night.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans? Happy Thanksgiving and welcome to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoked B. Today is Thursday, November 28th, and I want to thank you so much for making Locked On Bruins part of your day. Free and available on your favorite podcast app and on YouTube, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Get in on the NFL action this weekend with a big return. New customers can place a $5 bet and get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. And before we get started, a quick reminder, you can find the podcast on social media at Locked NHL Bruins. You can find me, my hockey thoughts, dad jokes, at Ian C. McLaren. I am a lifelong Bruins fan. I've been hosting this podcast for 5 years. Before that, I was a full-time hockey news editor at The Score, and I've been covering the Bruins for various outlets for 20 years now, since the Joe Thornton trade. In fact, that was my first ever blog post on this team. And, of course, the Bruins have been mired in an unfortunate start to the season that resulted in Jim Montgomery being fired last week. Since then, they have gone 3-1 under new head coach, interim head coach, I should say, Joe Sacco, with a huge 6-3 win over the New York Islanders last night. They were coming off a loss to Vancouver on Tuesday where they dominated possession but just could not find the back of the net. They more than made up for it on Long Island, popping 6 goals in on the Islanders. 2 from Brad Marchand early to get things going. 2 third-period goals from Pavel Zacha to pull away and take the lead. 1 from Morgan Geekie, and then an empty netter from Nikita Zadorov coming out of the box to seal it, his first as a member of the Boston Bruins. And Joe Sacco, after the game, said, against Vancouver, they had showed signs and had opportunities. The difference in this one, quite simply, they put the puck in the back of the net, stuffing it, if you will, prior to Thanksgiving. He thought against Vancouver, they played a tighter game defensively. They didn't give us up as much as they did against the Islanders, but you're going to have the games when it's a bit more wide open, especially when you're in a back-to-back situation. The legs aren't quite there. 2 teams that were desperate for points, the Bruins and the Islanders, both in the thick of a playoff chase in the Eastern Conference. Wasn't the Bruins' cleanest game. That's hockey, though. Sometimes you find ways to win when you're not at your best, and that's a good sign for the group. The Bruins did have some leads that they let slip away. They were up 2-0. The Islanders were able to tie it. They go up 3-2. The Islanders tied it again. But then Pavel Zacha coming up huge in the third period with those 2 goals. He's had a tough start to the season, and it was just a matter of time before his shooting percentage, which going into last night's game was under 6%, just a matter of time before that started to rise. And 2 goals in the third period, less than 3 minutes apart, really helped pull things in Boston's favor. He said the mindset is just sticking with the process that they have and keep creating. The Bruins are getting a lot of shots, a bit of a net front presence in this one. He had a tipping goal and another, he was right in front of the net, popped it in, thanks to some nice playmaking from David Pastrnak, who had 3 assists in this one. Not scoring, but contributing offensively, to be sure. And Marchand helping the team get off to a great start with 2 goals in the opening 6.5 minutes. They had a back-to-back. There was some travel, not too far, of course, but not an easy place to play, Marchand said, and getting some momentum, getting their feet under them was important. They got the Islanders again, were able to claw back on a couple of occasions, but it was so important for the Bruins to be able to pull away there and get the win, especially heading into the Thanksgiving break and with a couple beatable opponents on deck in the Pittsburgh Penguins tomorrow night and the Montreal Canadiens on Sunday. Now, Marchand, it was his 7th career opening minute goal to give the Bruins a 1-0 lead 57 seconds in. The only other players in franchise history with as many opening minute goals are Patrice Bergeron, who had 10, Ray Bourque with 9, Terry O'Reilly, and Phil Esposito, each with 7. So if he does it again, he will be in sole possession of 3rd in that pretty cool category. It was his 64th career multi-goal game, surpassing Rick Middleton for 5th most in franchise history, tying David Pastrnak for 4th most. Pastrnak, it was his 80th career multi-assist game, surpassing Ales Hemsky and Robert Lang for 8th most by a Czech-born player. 3-assist night was also his 64th career 3-point game, passing Ken Hodge for 7th in franchise history behind Phil Esposito, Ray Bourque, Bobby Orr, Johnny Busick, Middleton, and Marchand. So some big nights for some Bruins skaters last night. And Zacha, I should mention, it was his 10th game-winning goal since joining the Bruins. The only Bruins with more in that span are Pastrnak and Marchand. So a big night for some of the big players on this team. And that's what we need to see from these top-line players. You could argue Boston's depth isn't there this season, and the secondary scoring has been an issue with Trent Frederick. Thankfully, Morgan Geekie got one last night. Nikita Zadorov contributing the empty netter from the blue line. But Boston's best players need to be that. And Marchand, Pastrnak, Zacha for sure needed to get off the schneid last night. And he did that in fine fashion. And the Bruins getting a big 6-3 win over the Islanders here heading into today's Thanksgiving break, where Charlie McAvoy, joined by, I believe, Mason Lohrei and John Beecher, are off this morning delivering pies to those who are in need here this Thanksgiving season. Later on in the podcast, we'll discuss some things to be thankful for with regards to the Bruins. We'll also break down some key stats and signals to take away from this game here as the podcast continues. I know a lot of you will be gathering around the television today, watching some Thanksgiving NFL action, and you can get in on it with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Today, new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you hit that first $5 bet. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. When you get a hunch in the middle of a game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. It's available at FanDuel.com. Just sign up today and get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. It's game time, friends, and you can go to your next Bruins game, go check out your new favorite band, or check out a comedy or theater show near you with Game Time. They have a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. The all-in pricing, when toggled on, means there's no surprise fees at checkout, and you can get a panoramic view from your seat so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive at the venue. Download Game Time, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Now, terms do apply, but again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. That's Game Time. code Locked On NHL, $20 off. What time is it? It is game time. Let's discuss some key stats and signals to take away from last night's big win over the New York Islanders. First of all, this game was played largely at 5-on-5 in a rare occurrence. There was only, I believe, one minor penalty called in this one, and it was a questionable one at best, as Nikita Zadorov was assessed a cross-checking penalty against Anders Lee. Now, to Zadorov's credit, he had gone quite a bit of time here without taking a penalty. That was something that had plagued him early on this season, but I believe this was his first minor in a handful of games at least. He had gone it had been since November 14th that he had taken any sort of penalty. And this one was kind of questionable at best. And not only did the Bruins kill that penalty, but Zadorov was able to get the empty netter coming out of the box here. So in all situations last night, the Bruins, once again, dominating in terms of possession, 56-48 shot attempt differential. Shots were 24-21. Scoring chances were 28-16. Actually, this is in favor of the Islanders, I should say. So the Islanders had more shots last night, 24-21. They had more scoring chances. They had more high danger chances. Expected goals was pretty even last night in all situations, 2.23 compared to 2.2 for the Bruins. Now, if you look at the actual production, of course, the final score was 6-3. So the Bruins really getting the benefit of some puck luck last night, where in the past they've had some dominant possession games. This was not that, but finally they were able to find the back of the net and get some goals where previously they have been a little bit unlucky. Pavel Zacha, Mark Kastelik leading the way with 3 shots apiece to pace all forwards. Brendan Carlo did have 4 shots from the back end. Pavel Zacha with the 2 goals. Marchand with 2 goals on 2 shots. Geeky with a goal on 2 shots. And then Zadorov as well with a 2-point game, actually, from the back end. In net, it was Joonas Korpisalo. Not, again, the strongest game. 3 goals on 24 shots for an .875 save percentage. But in the end, it was the Bruins who kind of benefited from some regression, positive regression in this one. They have been flummoxed often, including the other night against Vancouver, where they were goalied. And last night, Ilya Sorokin played not bad, but the Bruins were able to get finally the benefit of the doubt in this one and get those 5 goals on him for the eventual 6-3 win. So the key stats in this one, just 1 penalty, which is fantastic for the Bruins, showing some disciplined play. Nikita Zadorov, to his credit, his first penalty only in the last 6 or 7 games. Questionable one at best. And the Bruins getting 6 big goals when the expected goals were only a couple, to increase their goal differential from -21 still to -18, which is by far the worst among teams in playoff contention. Right now, the Bruins back in 3rd in the Atlantic when it comes to total points. But if you look at point percentage in the Atlantic, they are still in 5th behind the Buffalo Sabres, just slightly behind the Sabres, who lost last night. They're at 521. The Bruins are. The Sabres at 523. And on tomorrow's podcast, we'll be sure to update the Atlantic Division power rankings. But you look at the 8 teams right now, the top 8 teams in the conference in terms of point percentage, they all have positive goal differentials. The Bruins are next up, and they're at -18. So there's a clear split in the East right now. top 8, positive goal differentials. Bottom 8, negative goal differentials. And the Bruins are still third last in the conference in terms of goal differential. So they've made positive steps here under Joe Sacco, but there's still a lot of ground to make up and ways that they can improve. But to their credit, it has been a lot better under Joe Sacco. If you look at the stats since he took over, the Bruins have a 750 point percentage, which is third in the NHL since last week, scoring 2.25 goals per game, which even after that 6-goal outburst still is not amazing, but it's something. Most notably, their shots. They have taken 28.3 shots per game, but allowing only 20.3 shots per game, which is second fewest in the NHL over the last 4 games or so. So some improvements. The goal scoring was a good step in the right direction, and they have a couple opportunities here to improve on that because the next 2 teams that they are playing are the only 2 teams with worse goal differentials than the Bruins in the East. So if you're looking at trends, signals to take away, the Bruins have to build on this win and take care of the Pittsburgh Penguins, who, despite winning, I think like 6-1 or something last night, they are still at minus 33 goal differential. They did have a big win. Actually, no, it was lopsided for a couple periods, but the Vancouver Canucks were able to come back and make it interesting last night. I think they were up 5-1 at one point. The Canucks made it 5-4, so they only improved by 1 goal last night. The Bruins have a real opportunity to beat the Penguins and beat them good here on Friday. And then they play the Montreal Canadiens on Sunday, who are at minus 21. So the Bruins have to take care of business against those 2 teams, especially on home ice. We've seen the Bruins struggle at home. They haven't scored a third period goal in about 100 years, it feels like, since that first game against the Montreal Maroons. It's not quite that dire, but Pittsburgh, Montreal, incredibly beatable. And to lose some of this positive momentum against either one of those teams would be, would be not great for the Boston Bruins. So they need to keep this going. And hopefully, Pavel Zacha's got some confidence again. We have Brad Marchand coming up with a big couple of goals. It's still been a while since David Pastrnak found the back of the net. While he did have 3 assists, he's at 22 points in 24 games. He still only got 8 goals in 24 games, which is well below what we know he is capable of. And again, he has not scored here since November 14th, a game against Dallas. So 6 games without a goal for David Pastrnak, which is very unlike him. He's really on pace now for only something like 30, whereas he's challenged for 50, 60 over the last few seasons. So we really need him to find the back of the net here and find it quickly. He's on pace for only 27 goals, 48 assists, 75 total points. And that, of course, is well down from what he's achieved over the past couple of seasons. 110 points last year with 47 goals, 113 points the year before on 61 goals. Yeah, David Pastrnak quite simply needs to get going here. His shooting percentage is down to 8.6 from 13.7 career average. So as long as he keeps shooting, the puck will find the back of the net sooner than later. And hopefully these games against 2 teams that can be scored on will push the needle in that direction. So big win last night for the Bruins. What is there to be thankful for around this team today? Thanksgiving? Let's discuss that here as the podcast continues. A quick PSA for anybody out there who rents. If you haven't tried Built, you're about to thank me. Earning points on rent is now a reality when you pay your rent through Built. You don't even have to check with your landlord to start earning points that you can use toward flights, hotel stays, fitness classes, and even your next rent payment. Let me break it down for you. There's no cost to join Built, and as a member, you will earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, and even the ones you haven't heard of. There's over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world where you can redeem your Built points. If you're not earning points on rent, my question is, why not? Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/lockedonnhl. That's joinbilt.com/lockedonnhl. Make sure to use that URL so they know that we sent you. Joinbuilt.com/lockedonnhl to start earning points on your rent payments today. Let us end today's podcast with a few things that we can be thankful for with regards to the Boston Bruins. And you know what? I'm just going to say it. I'm thankful for Joonas Korpisalo. He's come in and played extremely well for the Boston Bruins, minus that one game against the Florida Panthers, where we can kind of excuse it because it was a tough spot for him to be in. He's effectively replacing Linus Ullmark, and he's done quite well so far this season as a member of the Bruins. He is off to a 5-2-1 start with a .907 save percentage. And compared to what he did last year in Ottawa, that's a drastic improvement. Already 2 shutouts, and he's come in and really stabilized that position when Jeremy Swayman has not been quite up to par so far this year. 6-8-2 record, an .888 save percentage for him. But he has been playing a bit better as of late, and hopefully this new look tandem for the Bruins can become even stronger down the stretch. Jeremy Swayman's last 2 games, he's posted save percentages of .950 and .929. So hopefully that trend continues. What else are we thankful for here? Well, interim coach Joe Sacco. He's come in. He has improved the team defense. Again, they're allowing only 21 shots over their past 4 games. They're getting 28, 30 shots on goal regularly on average. And now finally the puck is going in the net, and hopefully that trend continues. Full credit to Joe Sacco for coming in. It was only a matter of time per se that some of these players started to break out, but thankfully it's happening. Even Pavel Zacha, still only at 9.1% shooting, which is below his career average of, what is he at for his career? There's still some positive steps that can be made. He's at 11.8. He had 14.2, 16 over the past couple of seasons where he had 21 goals. The 2-goal outburst last night puts him on track for 17 goals, only 17 assists. So there's still some more that we can do there. But I'm thankful that Pavel Zacha busted out with those 2 goals last night. Thankful for the captain with his 2 goals. And, you know, there has been some talk out there that maybe Brad Marchand could be willing to be moved if the Bruins don't improve. Traded to a Stanley Cup contender to try to get one more crack at it before he retires. He is a free agent coming up this summer, but he has embraced his leadership role. He's leading by example with his offense last night, his competitive spirit, and his early goals against the Islanders were a reminder of his consistent impact. I'm still thankful for David Pastrnak. Again, his numbers are down from last year, but he has proven to be the team's offensive engine time and time again. And if he heats up, then that will only help improve the team. I'm thankful for Hampus Lindholm. Yes, he's injured right now, but hopefully he can come back and help stabilize the defense even more. The team defense over the past few games has been a key area of improvement. And they've held their opponents to just 57 shots or something like that over the last several games, which is unbelievable. The penalty kill has improved as well. I'm thankful for that. The Bruins have allowed just one power play goal in 11 opportunities in the last 4 games under Joe Sacco. The offense is coming as well. They've outshot their opponents 113-81, outscored them 9-6, including that 6-goal explosion last night. 3 assists for Pastrnak, 3 assists for Lindholm, and all in all, the Bruins' best players are indeed playing as such, which is what you need. You need impact from Zadorov. You need an impact from Elias Lindholm. You need David Pastrnak to be, if not scoring, then making plays. You need Pavel Zacha to be scoring. And 3 guys had 3 points last night. Zacha with 2 goals, 1 assist. Lindholm with 3 assists. Pastrnak with 3 assists. Marchand with 2 goals. And then Geeky with another goal as well. We need more from Frederick, Coyle, Beecher. If we can get that, even more to be thankful for. I'm thankful for the Bruins' young guys. Mason Lohrei playing fantastic lately for the Bruins. John Beecher locking things down on the 4th line. Merkulov, Patra, Lysell on the farm, hopefully coming up soon and making an impact. The Bruins trending in the right direction. And again, hopefully that can continue here over the next 2 games against very, very beatable opponents. We'll preview tomorrow's game against Pittsburgh on tomorrow's show. We'll update the power rankings as well. Maybe take a look ahead at the centennial celebration as well. Please do enjoy your Thanksgiving. It can be a tough time if you're not quite a family gatherer. Sometimes that can be tough, especially with differing opinions and all that. But please do take care of yourselves today. Take care of each other. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. Enjoy the Bruins win last night. Hopefully one tomorrow as well. Please do check out Locked On Fantasy Hockey next for all the latest from Steal and Flip to help give you the advantage over your opponent this week. It's all part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite team every single day. Take care, friends.